Hi, this is Carrie Iannuzzi, and this is my tech video project for week 4. So I've decided to do a unit on geometry with parallel lines for 9th and 10th graders. Now, the big idea is that angles formed by a set of parallel lines play an important role in design and architecture. And the essential questions that I want them to be able to answer are, do pairs of angles formed by parallel lines have a special relationship? And what special relationship do they have? So as an overview of this unit, students are going to start out by learning the special terms associated with parallel lines and special pairs of angles. They're going to identify a transversal, and then they're going to use online software to be able to see what the special relationship is when we move the lines around. And then they're going to apply their knowledge, and they're going to make a poster. They are going to be able to test their knowledge using Kahoot. So with this applied technology, we are going to be using edpuzzle.com, and that's where all the instruction comes in. I'm going to use GeoGebra again for them to be able to experiment a little bit. They're going to do Kahoot to have some fun and battle against each other. And then they're going to show their creative side with canva.com when they make a poster. Okay, so to start with, this is where the instruction comes in my lessons, and they're going to be using an Edpuzzle to be able to be introduced to all of the key terms. So in this Edpuzzle, I basically give them all of the terms they need to use, and then they get to test it out by answering questions as we go along. Now, the thing I love about Edpuzzle is that it will stop and I can write them encouraging notes and have my students write down points where I think they're really important. So that's a stage like this now. And then I can give them instruction, ask them multiple choice questions, and again, they can't progress through the video unless they've answered those questions. So I really love this because it really keeps the students engaged, and they always get formative feedback, because after I've asked them a multiple choice question, I always follow it up with an answer so they know immediately whether they're right or wrong. So this is great for a flipped lesson. So, okay, once the students have learned about all the special kinds of angles, we now get to do some exploring. So they are going to use GeoGebra.com. They're going to have this worksheet, and I'm going to talk them how to make parallel lines on the screen rather than measuring the angles the old way, like with a protractor and a ruler. Now we're going to do this all on the computer. So here we have our parallel lines. I teach the students how to make these using the program, and then we're actually going to measure the angles. And the great thing about this program is it's not stagnant. We can move things around. So I'm going to show you how I can just click on point B here, and I've set this up so that my lines are parallel, and the students can then see that the angle measures are going to change depending on how the lines move. Now, the connection I need them to make is that these two angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. So it's great. They can grab on this point and move it around and hopefully come to that conclusion. Okay, once they've figured that out with that angle, what I would do is, let's delete this angle, and I'm going to measure a different one instead. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to have them use the measuring tool, and they are going to measure angle EAH. Okay, and then we're going to just move this around so that we can view it a bit better. So then I've got 136 degrees, 136 degrees. I want them to make the connection that when we have alternate interior angles, they're always going to be the same if the lines are parallel. So again, they can go up to that point B and they can just drag it around, move it to different locations, and see that the angles are always going to be the same. It's great. They can do it with all of the angles. Now, when we get to this part of the unit, students are going to do another Edpuzzle, and this is something that I can assign for homework. They know what the angles are, they know the relationship when the lines are parallel, and this just gets to test them and gives them some formative feedback to make sure that they're on the right track. Once we've done this, the students get to show their creative sides by making one of these posters. I've shown them how I can problem solve. I've given them a problem to work out, and I've shown them that here's the solution. I've included a photograph, And I've included key points that other students would need to know if they were solving a problem like this. Now, in this part of this unit, students are going to battle their wits together by doing a Kahoot, and they will get to see if they have understood the learning targets. The unit is great for using technology as they get a lot of formative feedback. It doesn't matter if they're wrong, it's all part of the learning process, and they get to experiment a bit when they use the geometry program called GeoGebra. It's very engaging for them, and they can't really progress, and they're forced to answer questions and then hopefully learn as they go along. And finally, the interaction that they have is great. There's no paper and pen required for this. It's all done on the computer, and students are easily able to measure angles. Thank you for listening.